All right, welcome back. A lot of opinions about Mueller Day on Capitol Hill. My guests tonight have a couple to share of their own. Tracy Dietz and Kelly Gibson from TracyandKelly.com joining me here on the Final Five. Again, Tracy before Kelly on the website.
Yes,
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having us. What a day.
Special day today.
Yeah.
We won!
No,
We
stop that.
won!
How much time did you expend actually watching all of this today?
3 hours.
6.5 hours. I watched all of it, like a weird soap opera sort of marathon situation.
Yeah?
Yeah. Although Mueller, in the beginning, I said, how is he going to last 6 hours? It was challenging for him to answer all the questions.
He went on last
but by like hour 5.5, I was completely accustomed to it.
I got a
I feel
text.
like he started off pretty bad anyway.
Well, no, I want to get into that because I got a text this morning. I woke up. I did not get up at 8:30 this morning to watch it. I was sleeping from the night before. I figured I'd catch up on all of it. I got a text from a friend of mine who's very liberal, and she said, I can't watch this. He's unwatchable. He's all over the place. What the hell is wrong with Robert Mueller? And, clearly, in her eyes, she knew what she wanted to come out of this meeting. She didn't get it, and a lot of Democrats seem like they feel the same way today.
No, I think the Democrats lost today. I mean, he seemed out of sorts. It became very clear that he did not write this memo, that he was not part of a lot of the investigation that was going on. There were people beneath him that were doing all of the work. He couldn't talk about certain things in the memo, like he got confused with conspiracy versus collusion. There were a number of things. I mean, he just did not come across competent, which the Democrats really needed him to sort of nail that home today.
But when it came down to a lot of the responses, and he gave a lot of one-word replies, and when he was asked, was the president exonerated, the answer was no, he wasn't.
Correct. But he also said that the president wasn't convicted either.
Right.
I mean, there's
Which
still,
is both true. I mean, you're looking at all these different legal
Correct.
angles. You're absolutely right with that.
I mean, I think the interesting thing about Director Mueller came out so they released the report. He came out, did the press conference, and he said, "Listen, we spent 22 months. We wrote a report that is comprehensive and inclusive of all of our findings. 19 lawyers, 250 subpoenas, interviews, like tons of them, right?"
Yeah.
And he said, "I will not stray from what's in the report." And they said, "Well, we want you in front of Congress." And he said, "Cool, but I will not stray from."
I don't think he said.
No,
cool.
he didn't say cool. He said fine. He said fine, but I will not stray from what's in the report.
Yeah.
So he did often say, I will refer you back to the report. He said, I will not speak on that. He didn't speak on internal decision-making processes. He didn't speak on things that were still being investigated. But I do think in the beginning it was sort of like he was off his game in the beginning, but come hour 5, he started to bring his own personal perspective to it, right? He said that the WikiLeaks thing was inappropriate and that Donald Trump Jr. should be investigated for his sort of approval of it. And in October of 2016, Donald Trump loved all the release of those Hillary emails, and Mueller said in the hearings, I think that that's trouble.
I feel like regardless, any congressional hearing, anytime you have, partisan endeavors, which these all are, I mean, regardless of how people feel about it, Mueller was supposed to be the down-the-middle bipartisan one that was not supposed to bring politics into this. But regardless of what it is, whether it's this issue, whether it's Benghazi, everybody comes in with these questions that they want to ask and these points that they want to make. And it seemed like every Democrat wanted to say, show us where Donald Trump committed crimes. Every Republican wanted to say, why was your team so bad?
Well, so I think the one thing about the report was Mueller said, listen, we can't exonerate him, but Congress should do their job. And Congress is not doing their job, right? And I was talking to you about this earlier. He has given an opening for Congress to impeach the president.
So it's a question between politics and policy.
Right.
Right.
So
We
what's
are
better
on
for
the
the
brink
country?
of a giant election. So the decisions that Congress, or Democratic-controlled Congress, are making are not only in the best interests of the country, but if you pass articles of impeachment through Congress, they have to get to the Senate. And we're trying to win back the White House, the Democrats. So I think that there are a lot of things to think about. But Tracy came into this whole thing hot. She won. I do not agree. I think we held our ground.
I want to talk about the back end. So this was all done today. The president came out and spoke later on in the day. A lot of people would ask him questions. And one of the things that came up was, can he still be prosecuted, if he were to leave office? It was said he did. Or it said that he could potentially be. He was asked, the president was asked about this afterwards. And we didn't get, from the White House, it comes down to, there's no nuanced reply. It's fake news, you're fake, this is a witch hunt. And it seems like, you walk away with the Republicans walk away with a pretty big, victory here. but the president, still wants to guide that narrative. He wants to be the final word.
Right. He should have just taken the victory today. That was not one of his better press conferences. Which
is funny. We're here on the final word.
Which is saying a lot.
I'm sorry.
The
final five.
Which is the final word of the day. But I do think that there is
Good save.
It's a funny thing about this president in that he is incapable of understanding the scope of the greater bit of the government in which he leads. And so,
but isn't that why he was elected? Isn't that why a lot of people, they wanted him?
I think that why he was elected is no longer relevant. It's why he'll be elected again. So I think that his campaign is in a bit of a turning point. Not that it's in trouble, but why he was elected the first time will not be why he's elected a second time.
Well, it's all over now, and this is all over and done with, and we're never going to talk about Russia again and anything like that. So let's move on. I wish we could, and we talked about this, but just my favorite part was Melania dropped the Christmas plans in the middle of everything, which, hey, good for her. Plug the website before we go.
TracyandKelly.com. Check us out. We have a lot to say about all things happening in this sort of in politics and in the re-election, and we disagree on almost everything.
Everything.
So check us out.
We disagree on everything.
But we agree that you're some of our favorite guests on the show. Great to see you both.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.